Hey everybody, it's Steve here. Got some Super Mario Kart up on the screen. I might play a little bit of that. I haven't played that game in forever, man. There's Oscar. He's resting. It's been kind of hot in here. I just had to turn the AC off so I could, make this video. Because I've said this before, the AC is so loud. But anyway, I guess there's more important stuff to talk about. So let me sit you down over here. Your usual spot. Yeah, I didn't even move my coffee table out or anything. I'm not prepared. This is kind of spur of the moment. I didn't plan on doing this. There's just something I need to talk about, and it's something. If you've seen other videos of mine where I always say, well, there's some things that I haven't disclosed about myself on here, and I just never do. There is something very important about myself that I've never shared on here, and there's actually not many people that even know this about me. And part of me doesn't know why I'm bringing it up now, but in a way I do. Over 12 years ago, well, 12 years, 4 months, and 7 days, something like that. My life was very, very different than it is right now. It's almost like a separate life altogether. Up until 12 years ago. I'm not going to drag it out, obviously, because obviously I'm going to title this video something that's going to, you're going to figure out what it is just by the title. So, over 12 years ago, on January 21st, 2001, I quit drinking. And the reason for that is because I am an alcoholic. And even now, after all this time, it's so hard for me to say that sentence. It's so hard for me to say that. Because, contrary to whatever I tell myself, I'm still ashamed of it. To this day, 12 years later, I'm still ashamed of the fact that I was a full-blown, raging, out of control, 24/7 drunk alcoholic. So why am I saying it now? Well, there's a couple reasons. First and foremost is secrets aren't good. Now I sit here right now in front of this camera with over 12 years of sobriety under my belt. Why shouldn't I be proud of that? Why shouldn't I be like shouting that from the rooftops? That's something that I should be proud of. But instead, there's this stigma that's attached to this illness. I call it an illness. I mean, there's those who will call it a disease. I don't like the word disease, even though illness is kind of the same thing. And it is an illness, don't get me wrong. And I guess in some ways you could call it a disease. But there is still a stigma attached to it. And people who have this same illness as I do are frowned upon. Or at least that's what my head tells me. I don't know. Sometimes I think that maybe the world is more accepting than I give it credit for, Maybe, just maybe, the whole world's not, out to get me after all. But I have such a deep shame for who I was back then that's why I've never said anything. I don't tell anyone. Because And when I say I'm talking mostly about like at my job, my previous job, this job, I don't tell anyone because I don't want anyone to think differently of me. I'm afraid of what people will think of me. Again, even as I sit here 12 years later, you know, there should be no more shame, but there is. So, reason number one, I'm saying it now just to get it off my chest. You know, I don't want to have this deep, dark secret anymore, especially when it's something that, at this point, shouldn't be a secret. It shouldn't be something to be ashamed of. A second reason would be is that alcoholism is such a, part of it is so selfish that to keep it to myself it continues the selfishness. If there is anything that I can do to help somebody else who's in the same position that I was 12 years ago, I need to fucking do it. I have no right to deprive other people of help. You know, can I help other people? I don't know, because you know what? I haven't tried. You know, so it's time to start trying, and it's time to try and give something back. A third reason would be that I just need to talk about it. I don't want to scare off anybody who's like new to sobriety or who's thinking about quitting drinking. You know, I don't want to scare anyone off and say that 12 years later it's still hard, because it gets easier. Believe me, it gets easier, it gets better. But I'm going to give it to you straight, I'm going to be honest with you, it never fully goes away. It gets easier. You know, those first few weeks, months, even, you know, a year or two of sobriety where you're kind of climbing the walls and you feel like you're losing your mind, it won't always be like that. It will get better. But it never goes away. And it goes back to why I refer to it as an illness and why some people refer to it as a disease. Because it doesn't end when you quit drinking. It doesn't stop there. There's something inside an alcoholic's brain that doesn't quite work right. And things happen to you that make you feel like you're a little crazy, to be honest. Because even after all these years, let me tell you this, I can go for extended periods of time without even thinking about drinking. Thank God. It's a blessing. But why I say that it never fully goes away, because when I least expect it, out of nowhere, and it doesn't matter if you know, if something horrible has happened or something good has happened and I'm feeling celebratory, it doesn't matter. Nothing has to happen to set off a pattern of thought in my brain that leads back to wanting to drink again. For like the past 2 days, and again, it's not as, I can't compare this to how it was back in the beginning. It's not that strong, it's not that desperate urge, but it's there. And for like the past 2 days, it's been there. I can't say here, I gotta say here, in the back of my head. And why I call it an illness, it's because it's not just like a thought in my head saying, hey, you know, go get drunk tonight. It's not that simple. It is a cunning, lying, seductive voice. Now I say voice, I'm not hearing voices in my head, believe me. But in a way you are. I can't quite describe it. Because it's a thought that's not coming from me. It's not coming from the alcoholic. It's from somewhere else, inside of our brains, that finds a clever, sneaky way to try and trick us into thinking that we can drink again. Examples. It's been 12 years. 12 years. Go have a few drinks. You're fine now. It's over. You beat it. You must not have a problem anymore because you've gone for 12 years without drinking. You must be fine, right? Just one. One won't hurt. Everybody else in the world does it. Just go have one. It'll be different this time. After 12 years, you can start drinking again now, and it'll be different than it was before. These are examples of the sneaky lies that our brains tell us. And for like the past 2 days, I've had them. Again. You know, it's an illness, again, because it's something that is permanently in you, that never fully goes away. It's there, lurking in the background, just waiting for a chance when it can appear, and not, you know, in a big theatrical way, in a quiet, cunning, manipulative way, to try and trick me into doing what it wants me to do. Now my rational brain says all these things aren't true. I know that I cannot have just one. I cannot have one drop. And I know that because I know exactly what will happen if I do. I would be drunk off my ass 24 hours a day, 7 days a week again by the end of the week. Guaranteed. Probably even sooner, honestly. That's how bad it was. And that's how bad it is, because this isn't my first time around, you know, this track. I'm using the track reference because Super Mario Kart's still on the TV. It's not my first time around this track. You know, I ended up in detox, I ended up in rehabs, and failed repeatedly. So it's not like this is my, you know, my first time around, you know. So I know exactly what would happen if I even tried to just have one drink again. Because I am an alcoholic and there's no way around that. It's for life. It stays with you for life. Now, I'm not trying to say that as like a, you know, again, I'm not trying to scare off anybody who's, you know, new to sobriety or trying to quit. I don't want to scare anybody off, because I assure you, things do get better. I think I've got like a piece of like skin. If I'm like doing weird things with my lips, it's because I got like a piece of skin on my lip that I'm like trying to rip off with my teeth. Anyway, it gets better. But I've got to be honest and say that it never fully goes away. There is something in the mind of the alcoholic that makes us think a little differently, act a little differently, but that's not, more importantly, it's that it's always there in the background waiting to take you out and take you down, and it'll do whatever it has to do it. I mean, this is what these are the thoughts I've been having over the past few days. Just one. It's been 12 years. I mean, all the things I already said. And they're all lies. And I know it. It's something that you have to live with for the rest of your life. And I have, for the most part, I've told a few people along the way. And it was huge to do so. I mean, because even doing this right now, I mean, there's still a chance right now I could not upload this video. So I still have a way to back out of this. So I'm a little bit more relaxed about it right now. But, you know, the few people I have told, it was huge. But again, it was more so just I just needed to put it out there and not hide it. Because again, at this point, 12 years without drinking, I should not be ashamed anymore. I shouldn't have to hide anything anymore. You know, I did all my hiding when I, 12 years ago. Hiding and sneaking around and thinking I was being all clever and hiding bottles and walking around stinking drunk all day and thinking that nobody knew. Give me a break. Everybody knew. And I can look back now and I can see the looks in their eyes. The people like looking at me with just disgust. And some with pity. But at the time, again, it's the tricks. It's the justifications. It's the lies that our brains tell us. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just that you've got something in you that is determined to drag you down, one way or another. And it may wait a while. It may lie dormant for a long period of time, but it's still there and it's still waiting to take you out. Because there's no reason why I should be sitting here right now with 12 years of sobriety and still be thinking to myself randomly out of nowhere, I'll go get drunk tonight. I'm going to go get drunk tonight, just once, that's it, and then I'll, and I'll have a hangover tomorrow morning and I'll get over it. There's no reason, no sane, rational reason why I should be having thoughts like that. That's an alcoholic for you. That's what it means to be one. That's what it's like. People who aren't, all the people who are, concerned about you and worried about you, when you're drinking, they think that once you stop drinking that, well, that's it, the problem's over. It's done. And it's not. And that's what they don't understand. And God bless them, but the people who care about you really think that well, you quit and then that's it. It's done. It's not. It's never done. It's good to have reasons. I mean, ultimately, you should quit for yourself, but obviously having other reasons too are helpful. You hear people say all the time, that they did it for their family, their kids, their spouse. I don't have any of that. And it's another one of the lies that my brain tells me. My brain tells me that you have no reason not to. You have no reason right now at all not to go to the nearest bar or liquor store and get trashed. You have no reason not to. That's what my brain tells me. Is it a lie? Yes. Is it a sneaky bastard? Yes, it is. There is nothing stopping me. The only thing that does is that I don't want to go back to that deep, dark nightmare that I was in 12 years ago. And it's not even fear of death, because I have that. I've already talked about that. I am afraid of dying. But as far as drinking goes, it's something else. Because let me tell you, there's worse things than death. There are worse things in this world than death. and being an alcoholic is one of them. Being an active alcoholic who is currently drinking daily, non-stop, having no control over yourself, having no control over your body, your mind, and being a slave to an addiction. That's worse than death. If I do upload this and I get this off my chest, I hope that in the future, because obviously I can't talk about all this in just one video, I hope that in the future I can talk about it more, personal experiences, both, experiences, while I was drinking, so that maybe other people will be able to relate to it, because ultimately the stories are all the same. Anyone who's had a drinking problem, you get a group of them together, and that's why I know AA is the thing. I don't particularly go for it. I don't go. I did at first. It's not my thing. If it's your thing, that's great. I will never knock it if it works for you. For me, it just doesn't. But it's just so important to have other people around you that understand, and that's one aspect of AA that I could say that I miss. If there's anything I got out of it, is that I could be in a room full of people who had been where I was and who knew exactly what I was going through and what I had gone through, because the stories are all the same. It is amazing, and it's another reason why you could call this a disease, because the symptoms are the same, what happens is the same. If you listen to anyone talk about what happened to them while they were drinking, why they kept doing it even though they didn't want to, but they could not stop, it was beyond their control, it's all the same. And that is so powerful to realize that you're not alone. I told myself all the time, no one's as bad off as me. Yeah, there's other people out there with problems too, but not like this. I was so special. I was so unique. Bullshit. Bullshit. We're all the same. If you've got an addiction, we're all the same. We've all been through the same fucking thing. So I guess that's what I'm offering. If there is anybody out there who's watching these, if I even upload this, but I should, I know I should. If there's anyone out there who's watching this, and if you feel that you have that you currently have a problem, if you think that you drink too much, and that might be affecting your life negatively, I'm here to talk. I will talk to anyone, absolutely, who reaches out. If you yourself are in recovery, such as myself, and it's been years or months or days, and you're struggling, or you have someone that you just want someone to vent to, or to just talk about anything, I want those people out there to know that I'm right here. I may not be the best person to talk to, but again, I know what you're going through. I've been there. I'm still there, and I will be for the rest of my life. So in the future, I hope to share a bit more about what happened to me, just the whole journey, because that's what it's been. It's a journey, and we can get into it more in detail, but alcoholism sucks, and nobody should have to go through it alone, and nobody has to go through it alone. It's just such a painful thing. It's such a painful illness, and it affects every aspect of your life. what I was trying to say earlier is that, people who think that, once a person quits drinking, that that's it and it's over. It's not. It's not. There is something psychologically, mentally, whatever you want to call it, defective about me and about other people with the same problem as me. And it's something that you carry around with you, even when you're not aware of it, every day. And it chooses its moments to appear. And for the past 2 days, it's fucking appearing. I can tell you that. I don't want anyone to worry. I've come this far. I'm not going to give up now, even those moments when you want to. And that's what kills me. Is I still sit here with 12 years of not having a single drop of alcohol, and I'm still sitting here right now thinking about it and trying to figure out how I could do it. How can I get around this? How can I find a way to safely do it? And I can't. But I'm fine. I'm alright. So I guess maybe I'm doing this for myself too. I'm sitting here talking about how I want to help others and reach out to others. I guess I could use some help too. So anyone who has any personal experience in this area, drop me a comment. I don't get any of those really. A few here and there, but and yeah, I just needed to get it off my chest because I've kept it a secret for far too long, and it's not something that should be a secret. It's nothing to be ashamed of, and I am. So, I'm not going to do the whole AA thing and stand up and say, hey, I'm Steve, I'm an alcoholic, but I am. I don't like the phrase recovering alcoholic. I don't know. I think that's a phrase that's reserved for people who are in the program, and I'm not, so I don't know. I'm just a guy that doesn't drink anymore. A guy who used to drink morning, noon, and night, and for 12 years now I haven't. But there's days when I want to, and I guess there always will be, because this is what was given to me. Some weird wiring in my brain that for some reason wants me to do something that's destructive to me. So that's all I want. I just wanted to get off my chest. Yeah, I've kept it a secret for far too long, and I'm not going to be ashamed of it anymore. I'm going to try not to be ashamed of it anymore. So yeah, anyone who wants, drop me a line. Even if you don't want to do it publicly, drop me a private message. I'm here to listen to anyone, and maybe in turn you could listen to me. Well, I don't know who would want to do that, right? So that's all I got for now. Like I say, I'll get into it more in detail and more in depth as time goes by, but I should have been in bed like an hour and a half ago, but it's just gnawing at me. This was just really gnawing at me, and it has been for a while. And I hope now that, I've gotten it off my chest. I may not upload this tonight, but hopefully I'll be able to relax a little bit now. So anyway, everyone take it easy. Have a good day. Peace. And I'll see you around maybe for some Super Mario Kart. Like I said, I haven't played this game in like since I was a kid, to be honest. So probably I want to play it right now, but at the same time I probably want to record it, and it's too late for me to get into that right now. So maybe I'll save that for tomorrow. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm gonna shut up. Take it easy. Have a good day. Peace. And I'll see you around for whatever's next. All right. Bye. Oh, my cracking.